Hey guys, it's Lawson at all 4414 again. I've kind of watched my videos and I've been thinking about what I've said and where I've been coming from, and I noticed that there's a lot of people that kind of relate to what I'm saying, and I wonder at what level that connection is made. I think that the idea of personality typing, such as the MBTI and that sort of thing, is a tool that essentially tries to psychometrics. It puts a value to some thing that almost cannot be quantified. And the idea that there's 16 different types and that sort of thing, and I mean, that may be true, possibly. Theoretically, I think it's possible, maybe. But the idea that a person is very dynamic, and the reality of that being that we all have an infinite level of humanness. It's great to say that my static personality may be INTP, but I would argue that maybe that's the majority of who I am. The highest percentage of collaboration between those those traits. Maybe it's only 31% accurate, but that's the highest percentage. Like throughout the course of a day, I'm 31% of that time I'm an INTP. But I would argue that we dynamically, transfer relationships. I mean, because I know in one article that I read about the INTP is it said that we can be social chameleons, but I think that that's almost synonymous with peer pressure. What if I'm a social chameleon? Why would I do that? For me, I think that I'm malleable in the sense that I attempt to understand where this person is approaching me and what they're trying to come with. And unless I can cognitively emulate them, in a sense, how can I understand what they're saying? You have to relate with the object in question to understand the subject. And beyond that, you have to then relate with the subject. So even as a human, you have to be able to transcend any static nature of who and what you are, whether your conscious allows you to see that or not. I mean, I think that it's basically subconscious underpinnings, and that's where all this fluctuation occurs for most people. I would argue for me that I think that I'm more aware of subconsciousness than I think a lot of people are. Because I almost feel as if I'm sort of a segue. Feel like I'm caught in limbo between conscious and unconscious sometimes, where I'm just I'm not exactly present, but I'm not absent either. I'm not necessarily here, but obviously you cannot be anywhere else physically. It all occurs cognitively. It all occurs emotionally. It all occurs, psychologically. Hence, the introversion. What is happening? Has this happened before? What is around me? Who are these people? What do they want? Am I fulfilling their expectations? Am I meeting their needs? And beyond that, who and what am I right now? Because we make mistakes, and that snapshot, that instance, to an outsider that wouldn't necessarily know you, or have that weighted average of who and what you are, they view you as that. And technically, in that section of time, you were that. But as a whole, you're not. As a whole, you don't know what you are. And I don't think that you can ever understand the whole. So, if you can't understand the whole, and that's identity, what are we? You know? And I think that that's a scary thought. You can drive yourself into I've heard the phrase existential stupor, existential depression. And it's true. You can think about things and analyze things until they fail to exist. I mean, atoms and molecules and the basic subatomic particles that essentially make up reality, physical reality. They're dividing them further. It's a rabbit hole. There will always be more. As we become more aware and our tools become more accurate, the fluidity and the superfluousness of reality and whatever virtual metaphysical reality exists, it's just going to keep going. You start with, I'm here. I'm in this house. I'm in this neighborhood. I'm on this street. And it just expands and expands. I'm in this state. I'm in this country. I'm on this planet. I'm in this solar system. It's not going to stop. It's existentialism. It's reality. So, to deny that seems ignorant to me. A lot of people don't feel that way. A lot of people deal with knowns, but nothing is known. Things are assumed, and if it's assumed enough, it's viewed as a known. But that doesn't mean it's right. It means it's accepted. And if you deal with accepted knowns, quote, or known accepted, not a word, then you're accepted. And that's ironic, I think. You accept things that others accept, and you endorse them. And through mutual endorsement and, reciprocity and, this cognitive alignment, you're understood and you are accepted. And not to do that is to be outcast and shunned, which is ironic. It comes into all these philosophies where, kind of like the New Age, Eastern stuff, where they talk about within, without. And that's where we all are, but we don't want to accept that. It's funny, we want to accept things that arguably are not true, but we won't accept what we really are, which is dynamic and everything is changing all the time. But we can't understand that. We can't create a static representation. We can't create a snapshot. So then what are you accepting? And so you have to pick something to accept, to try to relate to someone else, because if it's some fluid thing, good luck, But that in reality, that's what we are. It's hit and miss. It's, very rarely are you ever going to find somebody that could, be in sync with you unless you both attempt to pigeonhole yourselves in relationship, which is what a relationship is. That's what a relationship between any two things is. It's some other thing saying these two things are alike. But there's also, that's just the tip of the iceberg. What's underneath the water is different, if anything. That's just a thought, Lost in all 4014. Have a good one, guys.